Say something.
I'm giving up on you.
All right. Welcome to 5 to 15 Minutes in HollyWhuch,
Which?
a podcast where me and my...
Which?
where we cover some of the biggest and brightest movies of this Hollywood season. This just is an opportunity to get to look at just a few minutes of what's coming up and have some fun creative discussions.
Which?
Never more articulated than what we're doing today, which is one of the greatest face-offs that we've seen in animated culture ever. Disney versus DreamWorks. It's been a battle throughout many, many years. Homeschool versus public school families, all that jazz. But there's something a little different about this match. What's special this year about Disney versus DreamWorks?
Well, given Disney's poor performance in the parks this season, Universal decided to take a stab at Disney and open 4 new parks. But that's probably not what you were asking.
No, it's not.
What you really wanted to know, just like all you watchers out there, it's live action. And so we're bringing the action live to you.
2 live action animated adaptations coming to the silver screens within a month's period, I think. We have Lilo and Stitch coming out.
That's this one.
And we also have HTTYD, How to Train Your Dragon.
You said HGTV.
HGTV. It's in the game. And 2 beloved icons, 2 animated figures, Toothless and Stitch. 2 cute, funny creatures with a snarling dark side. Who's going to win? In the box office?
Or the boxing ring.
And that's what we're here for today. Who would win in a fight? Toothless or Stitch? We know this might seem like a versus of who would win more money, but let's just be honest. It's How to Train Your Dragon. No. But we're not talking about that today because we don't know yet.
Because we don't know.
We don't know. But what we do know is there are 2 Wikipedia pages each about Stitch and Toothless with abilities and weaknesses.
And agilities.
And we are going to spend the next 5 to 15 minutes pitting the 2 against each other.
In a battle for the ages.
Where do we start?
Well, should we pick sides? I assume we already have, considering I'm sitting close to Toothless and you're sitting close to Stitch.
To a squishy little Stitch. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. It seems pretty clear who would win. Going through his portfolio, his list of attributes, abilities. I mean, this guy can bench 3,000 pounds, right?
But not one more than that.
Okay, all right, fine.
Otherwise, it crushes him like a Coke can.
That's true, but that we're not. That wasn't in the first movie, so
this is true.
That's true. He is bulletproof, fireproof, shockproof. Can think faster than a
semi-trailer.
Than a supercomputer. He can see in the dark and move objects 3,000 times his size. He's only instinct to destroy everything he touches.
Except Lilo.
That's true.
Although, didn't he want to destroy her early on?
I don't know. We should watch these movies before we started.
We should have. We should not have relied on our impeccable memory.
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest. When I was looking through these 2, it just felt pretty clear. He's got enough.
He's got everything.
He's got everything.
He's got it all.
He
can entertain and then strike. Like Elvis. Well, Elvis never struck, but he can entertain like Elvis and then strike.
Why don't you tell me what you think is so special about your fella?
Yes. He's very fast and he can fly. And not only can he fly, but he figured out how to fly again. He's resilient.
He sure did. With the help of a human.
But he lost that human when he found his light fury. The power of love is unshatterable, unbreakable. It is a bond that goes on forever, one that we must and should protect at all costs, which Toothless will do because he will see Stitch as an encroachment, as a threat upon his happiness and way of life.
Of course. And let's clarify, we're going to pit these two against each other in their primes. We're not going to say, well, technically, he did have to.
I see.
He's got to have Hiccup on his back, who is just a walking target for one of Stitch's plasma guns or whatever.
He also can do this number, fly, with the plasma from his plasma cache, and so
his Halo plasma cache.
It's Halo. And so Stitch has a hard time with hearing. Really supersonic sounds or high pitched sounds kind of send him, So when he dive bombs at supersonic speeds with a really high pitched noise, Stitch will just kind of like glitch. The Stitch glitch.
Yep.
See, and that's why Toothless. There's nothing that rhymes with Toothless.
That was the name of the sequel,
What?
Stitch has a glitch.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Stitch has a glitch. Lilo and Stitch 2. Stitch has a glitch. Now on Disney DVD.
No, you're like,
I am not joking. He like runs out of power, and he's like,
wow.
yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I did not know that.
I could tell by your tone. You thought you came across something really good there.
Wow, how about that? See? Toothless.
Yeah, so he's got a lot going for him too.
He does.
Plasma bolts, cloaking.
He can also That was not an accident. Or that was an accident. I was just thinking about cloaking. So the one problem with cloaking is I'm pretty sure Stitch sees infrared or like has like supersonic or super sensory abilities.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's got the heightened senses, which are going to be to his detriment, as you said, because Toothless might have some methods of discombobulating him. But I'm just saying, like, how is Toothless going to fight against a guy who can grab him with 3,000 pounds worth of strength and just crumple him or hurl him into a bridge?
I understand what you're saying about Stitch. Like, if he were able to, I think he can jump pretty well. Like, he can use guns, and he has like a bunch of arms. So if Toothless were to get anywhere close to Stitch, it's probably over.
Okay, and also, here's this little something in my back pocket from the first movie. His maker, what's his name?
Glorb?
Jumba. He comes in and shoots a plasma gun at him. Guess what Stitch does?
Oh, wait. He like absorbs the energy,
No,
right?
he catches it.
Oh, he catches it.
And
Okay,
he throws it back at him.
That's right. Yes.
What's he going to do against that? And I will concede, those look like pretty wimpy plasma guns.
They do. That is true.
But I feel like he's going to have some sort of, he might come up with something to go up against these plasma bolts.
He might. However, I want to pull out my ace.
Oh boy.
It's actually a double ace. An ace of spades and an ace of clubs. And no, he is not going to club Stitch over the head. What he in fact is going to do is fly over water. Because in my research that I did earlier this afternoon, I found out two things that are really, really not good for Stitch. And one is he can't swim. I don't know if you know this. I didn't until I read up on him to try to destroy him. He's very dense. And I don't mean like in the head. I mean like his body.
He's very smart, but he's very dense.
He's very dense. So whenever he swims, as you know, with all the physics you've taken, water, density. The other thing is, one of his weaknesses is his inability to breathe. Especially underwater, but in a vacuum.
Yeah, if you look up Stitch weaknesses, one of them is the inability to breathe without oxygen. It's like, yeah, okay, cool.
So if you've ever seen the movie Sky High, which hopefully y'all have, and hopefully I haven't like dated myself. Do you remember when War and Peace, which if you don't know, is actually a really cool name because it's about Leo Tolstoy's
Okay, move on.
book, War and Peace. Whenever he is fighting Will Powers, which is also a hilarious name, the fast guy, runs around War and Peace while he's trying to oxygenate and combust, but he can't because, when oxygen leaves a fire, it's like, So I'm thinking whenever Toothless encounters Stitch, he just flies super fast, agilely in a vortex around Stitch and suffocates him.
I don't know if that's possible. I think you should just pick them up and drop them into the water. I feel like that's way easier than this scenario. But that is a big problem.
Maybe that's actually probably a much easier solution.
Instead, you chose to date yourself by talking about Sky High, which everyone's seen.
I
That's
went on a
popular
rant.
movie.
I went on a rant.
So I feel like our two big avenues here are Toothless. If he gets a chance, he can grab Stitch, throw him into the water. He's done.
Yeah.
But Stitch is incredibly strong. I feel like this is going to take multiple tries. This may not even work out. And what? Speaking of weaknesses, what are Toothless's weaknesses? He's got a prosthetic tail.
He does.
That he relies on for movement. And I feel like Stitch is one of those guys who, if you grab him, he's just going to start crawling all over you and like pulling out tufts of your hair and stuff. And what's he going to do as soon as he gets on this creature who can barely keep hold of him? He's going to run and grab that tail.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's going to break it, and they're going to come careening to the ground.
I still hold to the fact that if Stitch lives on Hawaii still, which I don't know what happened when he got his glitch, but I assume he's still in Hawaii, all Toothless has to do is bait Stitch into jumping on him and just flying immediately to the water and just diving.
He can swim.
Yeah, Toothless can swim pretty well, even without a tail. Actually, that's a lie. He needs his tail.
It might be a bit of both.
Bit of both. But the other thing is, I'm still gonna say he's gonna call some dragons, because like his Light Fury would be like, "Oh, my Night Fury," you know.
I don't think the Light Fury can speak, and I don't think it has a Gerard Butler accent.
Why'd you have to be so stoic?
Stoic.
But Stitch can communicate pretty well, can't he? He has a multiple language.
I think he can speak. Yeah.
I wonder if they could communicate.
And they just agree to be friends.
Just agree to be friends.
All right. That's about it for
That's the
today.
wrap.
Stitch and Toothless decide to be friends.
Because they have similar heads.
Oh, man. That's pretty great. Honestly, there's more alike to them than there is different. So let's just say that they become friends and they enjoy Hawaii.
How boring.
Together.
This is such a
That
21st century podcast.
Or Stitch totally destroys Toothless.
In the water.
I feel like this is a pretty tough back and forth. They're both durable. It's gonna be a knockdown, drag out.
Let's be honest. Stitch is so dense. He's gonna sink straight to the bottom, find Aquaman, and rise from the ashes with Jason Momoa.
And he'll have his own fish army. Well, I feel like that just about covers it. Please put in your predictions in the comments.
I hope y'all enjoyed this.
Yeah, we sure did.
And if you have objections, put it in the comments.
Yeah, please tell us. We'll do a part 2 if the fans clamor enough for it.
Should we have like one last? I think we should have like closing arguments, right?
Sure.
Like in the trial, don't you get like closing arguments?
Sure. I mean, we're probably running out of time, but
we can do it in 30 seconds.
All right.
How about you start?
Okay.
You're more prepared.
Stitch is a creature designed for killing. He does find a heart, but if he doesn't hear, pretty much any scenario, unless he manages to get tossed out into the water, which is possible, but I feel very unlikely. He's gonna grapple. He's gonna use his he's gonna Hulk Loki, this Night Fury back and forth, and I think it's toast.
I think that's very good, but I think from the research I did
30 minutes ago,
Toothless is very creative and he's very fast, and so I think what Toothless could do is bait Stitch far enough or close enough to the shore to where at night he could come in, and if he's fast enough, that's the key. If Toothless is fast enough, he could bait him in, swoop in, grab him just long enough over the ocean. Stitch might rip him to shreds, but Stitch won't be able to get back to shore. So
that's true.
I think he could win. He would come out. It would be a Pyrrhic victory. He would come out very harmed, but I think he could win.
Like a true hero.
Like a true hero.
Well, that's all the time we have today for our heroes Thank you so much for joining us on this fight of two creatures that don't exist and who would much rather just be friends. And we're forcing into a boxing match to the death.
Which?
Make sure to keep an eye out for any other fun things that we are doing in the next few months. We'll do some fun kind of movie related stuff, but we'll keep it cash. So this is Calvin, and for Jameson, signing off.
Which? But Stitch is on Hawaii.
No, wait. Why are we recording this? We forgot. Stitch is on Hawaii. Toothless lives in the hidden world. He can't find him.